Hello.
Hello. Now we can't say good moaning because
Coffee.
it's lunchtime.
You can say good moaning.
We usually say good moaning because we usually do coffee moaning in the morning. In the
And
morning.
Good morning. No, you're right.
It doesn't work.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Have a little moan and a little fun with us this lunchtime. And if you have to dash off at any point, don't worry because we upload every day so you can watch it anytime.
We should call it afternoon groaning.
Afternoon groaning.
Coffee moaning and
afternoon
afternoon
moaning and groaning.
Moaning and groaning doesn't scan. Afternoon groaning.
Afternoon groaning.
Afters groaning.
So if maybe you're new here because you aren't usually around in the morning.
And you're not at Cheltenham.
Yeah. So every morning we do coffee moaning, which is a mixture of chat, news, fun, silliness. We've kept it a bit more silliness for lunchtime today, not that much news, because to be quite honest, we're all a bit flatlined with the horror of the world. So we thought, well, let's just have some lighter topics.
I'm not. I think the world's fantastic. I think everything is as it should be. I think countries that should be not, it's just a mess.
I'll just warn you all that Mark has a blocked ear. He has 2 blocked ears with olive oil in. So if he shouts, we have a safe word, which is, well, we have a safe action where I go, which means he then lowers his voice.
Then what does apple crumble mean?
Apple crumble means that I'm not willing. It's my safe sex word, apple crumble.
Oh, okay.
If it gets too much, I say apple crumble.
Safe sex word. We're going to be talking about unsafe sex positions, aren't
Yes,
we?
we
How the hell are we going to do that without apple crumble?
Well, and we're
Custard.
going to be talking about dating, the jobification of dating, which I was just chatting about over on Instagram, and some people were coming up with some really good ideas. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to be asking ourselves and you guys, have we unwittingly slipped into stalking Princess Kate? Are we forgetting that she's a human being that's had a bit of an operation, having some time off?
Lee Durrant says the big news is a picture. Outrageous. Well, it is. It's the photograph, isn't it? It's the photograph of Princess. Oh, what do we call her?
You've asked me this so many times in the last 40 hours. I can't say it anymore.
Kate.
She's the Princess of Wales.
But we all think of
she
Diana.
She is Catherine to William, and she's Kate to us.
I think she's just Kate. I think if you just say, what do you call her? Do you just say Kate? So we're going to talk about this is interesting actually, because this is a piece it's an opinion piece that Sheila Fogarty's done, which is just an LBC journalist presenter, and it's just asking a sort of slightly rhetorical question of, with all our obsession, however light-hearted, speculation, however, this feeling that we're owed some kind of explanation, have we all become stalkers?
We're also going to be talking about the most dangerous sex position.
Oh God, are we? There's an echo in the room.
We don't think we've got any photos for that.
Well, I have in my phone, but we won't be sharing those.
So how are all of you? How are you spending your lunchtime? What are you doing? Are you eating something now? What are you eating? What are you doing? Where are you sitting? What are you watching this on? I love to picture you all.
Yeah, I want a photograph of you all right now.
If this is your first time joining Coffee Moaning, what can happen here is we can take a comment.
We can do this. I'm going to take this one, which is quite edgy.
Put it up on the screen.
Look, read that.
Hi, Lena Distadio. I mean, I just think everybody should hold the same energy that they had for Meghan, for Kate. The one thing you all over there don't do well is consistency. Who in the royal family gets privacy? Exactly.
That's a good point.
Exactly. Beautifully put. Welcome. Welcome to Coffee Moaning.
Yeah, hi, Lena.
And if this is your first time here, guys, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because, wow, there is so much that goes on in this channel. You won't believe it. It's our own TV channel.
Yeah, you've got something fantastic landing later. You've got a vlog, which rather brilliantly is.
It was our trip
this morning.
It was our trip to Reading. Remind me what
/ Oxford. Well, we didn't find much in Reading. Please tell us what we missed in Reading.
Oh my God! But what we did find was that beautiful swimming
oasis
and that
that's gone out. That's gone out. That's happened.
Was that yesterday?
Yeah, the day before. My back is completely seized up, says Natasha. So I'm sat with an electric jacket on.
Oh no, Natasha!
Oh, sweetie.
Oh God. We've got to get you in downward dogging. Downward dogging is so good for your back.
But don't reverse cowgirl.
No.
Well,
it's nearly midnight in Sydney, Australia. Hi, Melissa. How are you doing? Nearly midnight. Oh, wow.
Kimberly Jones sitting on my bed, watching on my laptop, just home from hospital. I hope you're all right.
I hope you're good.
Too serious.
Faith, what's Faith up to?
Julie Hilton, watching you too.
Babysitting.
Faith Goodman, hi. I really want Fern to be safe from CBB and kept in CBB. Yeah, she didn't look happy, did she? Louis creeps me out. Talks about
Now Louis
looked furious.
was furious.
This is a
wasn't it?
Celebrity Big Brother for anyone
We
who doesn't
weren't
know.
watching it, but we just saw that clip. I don't think he was happy with Sharon.
I know that feeling though, when he's got. Did you see how he was thinking? I'm concealing my fury by just staring, by just using my eyeballs as you use them.
Well, he wasn't
but you can't hide it because what happens? It's like a slight tight. I see it with my mum sometimes. It's like tightening just goes in there. So
he did not manage to conceal it at all. I think Fern looked furious as well.
All
Just
I've
saying.
Yeah, that's true.
She looked furious.
All I've seen.
And she went, I understand. I completely understand. What? No, she blooming doesn't.
Welcome to the Man family. I'm homeschooling my 5-year-old. He's off sick, but I
hi.
don't want him to fall behind. He's full of beans despite having a chest infection and a bleeding ear, self-inflicted with a pencil.
My God.
My God.
Well,
I love the detail of that because I can really see what you're going
such
through.
a 5-year-old thing to do, isn't it? It's like when my mum went out
today.
and I was eating a bowl of cherries and she said, don't put
But
those...
it is clear.
Oh, thank God. Now, if you'd done that weeks ago, put the bloody oil in there, we wouldn't have had to have this.
God, you brought... Everything is...
You said pencil in the air, and can I just say, the Man family, thank you for unblocking his bloody ear, because I'm ready to throttle him over.
I can hear the microscopic... Have I got a lisp?
I swear to God, guys, I've been telling him for months to put the bloody olive oil spray. I followed him round with it. I took it and put it in the car. Would he do it? No. No, just moaning on and on and on.
I never knew I had a lisp. Since we ever had a lisp.
You're hearing yourself. So, Man family, what I would say is, well, we homeschooled our kids, and you can't get behind at 5 years old.
Nah.
You can't.
Nah.
It's like when we first took our kids out of school, we did something called de-schooling, which for every year they've been at school, we gave them a month to do nothing except to play and find their passions. And you know what? We can see it now in both of them. One is 16, one is 21. And Kiki watched obsessively. What was that cartoon she watched? And we were getting so nervous. We were like, oh, we've got to just like get her back to the books. Anyway, art is her thing. She's at a really good art school. And Maddie really found her voice singing and acting, didn't she? So that time that they have to just explore and not to be told everything, you know, that they've got to do is great. And it takes the pressure off you. Yeah, so I stuck a load of cherry pips up my nose. So mine was a 5-year-old accident. So guys, what shall we start with? Everybody well, let's start with, do kids fuck up your life? Perfect.
Yes.
Going from pencil in the ear. So,
well, I would say that your child is already way in advance of their years. If they're shoving, I mean, that's what men of a certain age do, isn't it? Shove pencils in their ears.
Why?
Well, that's what men do. I'd say he sounds very, very, very mature.
Oh,
yeah.
He sounds more mature than you.
Exactly. I didn't think to put a pencil in my ear, and I just put my finger in my ear because you said your son had put his pencil, and I can hear.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So let's just have a really honest conversation. Right. First of all, caveat is we all love our kids. We wouldn't be without them. We love them. We adore them. Goes without saying. But what are the things that we go, oh my God, about having kids?
The exhaustion, the never being able to sort of, not have to entertain them.
I think one of the big cons is when they're toddlers or when they're babies and everyone's saying, well, it won't always be like this, that you'll lose sleep. It's not true. I think that's the thing. I think I can never, ever get over the sleep that I've lost forever in my life because it's fundamentally changed me as a human being. And the thing is, when they become teenagers, they don't sleep the other end of the day, do they? They don't go to bed.
No.
So you're always, or they go out. And so it's like, oh, Mum, I'm going to go to this club at 11. You think, oh, right, well, that won't be out still asleep till 5 when we've heard that they're back. I think they fuck up your sleep for the rest of your life. We've got one here, that's why we're whispering.
No. I'll tell you one. Hang on, there's one here that's a really good one. And this is the case with all 4 girls. Teenage mood swings. Now, look, it's the trying to cater for whatever mood it is. And then however you cater, because they haven't grown up yet, they're unaware that you're catering. And so you cater
They've
and
got no
recater.
idea. Yeah,
The
they've got no
hurdles you're jumping
idea
through.
what you're actually
The
going through.
acrobatics you're going through, the gymnastics.
The fact that you can't show off about how much you're doing for them.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes going up to them going, do you know that I am currently multitasking emotionally in 86 different ways just to make sure that we can actually get this car out the drive?
Yeah. And like they've just got no idea at all, have they? What, like the shopping, the cooking, the cleaning, the sorting, the amount of conversations, the amount of time that we spend talking about what could possibly be going on in their heads.
Oh, and I tell you a great one.
Say anything.
This is a really good one. It's actually not the kids in this household, but I'm talking about kids that I've had. I've had a few. If you don't remember the exact relationship of a certain name to another person, the suggestion is you have zero interest. And you're like, do you know how many names I'm trying to remember and recall?
Yeah, but they never remember anything about your life.
No.
You've got to remember anything about their life.
Yes.
Oh, another homeschooler here. Yay. Where is she? I just saw another homeschooler popping up. Let's have some more.
A lot of people say it's worrying.
Let's see what Gemma says. The worry. Yeah, that age. I would say, I suppose it's pretty obvious. They totally change our lives. They are our priority, our worry, the reason we are tired, poor, but I wouldn't be without either of them. Mine are 12 and 8. Exactly. You know, when people say when they first have a baby and they go, oh, I just want to get back to my life. And you want to go, oh no. Like, you know, BC, it's like before Christ.
It's before
BC,
kids.
Before children.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
children. It's a C.
I was going to say before kids.
Lovely. I love the fact you're whispering.
Yeah.
We've just done a podcast on sex and we had to keep whispering.
Lee, I whisper when they're in another fucking London borough.
Yeah, when does that happen that we get scared of our kids?
I sometimes walked in. Over the years, with all 4 girls, I've walked into the house and I've literally had to do what I would call a SWAT team assessment of who's in the building.
And where they are.
Before I can open my mouth and say
something. And isn't it funny?
Contentious.
You can go, Della's ready. But if you go, oh my God, why is she in such a mood?
Yes,
they go, what? I heard you. They're like men. That they have selective hearing teenagers.
Are you having an absolute laugh? I couldn't hear a thing this morning and now I can hear everything.
But what I think, like when they're younger, I think one of the worst stages, because they're so damn cute and edible at the same time. What's that age when they're going like that? They don't talk and they're on your lap and they're just reaching.
Like
and they
you
go like
all the time.
Absolutely everything. They're putting their hand in your mashed potatoes. They're swiping your sausage. You go to put your fork in your mouth and they take your hand and put it in their mouth. What age is that? Is that 10 months?
No, 53. I mean, I quite like that.
Yeah, we're
age.
still trying to get Mark out of that. Is that about 10 months?
I think we were probably the only parents that when they splashed their food all over their face, I would splash more on mine. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It wasn't a good role.
I've just had a thought as well. I can remember this. This, on the hip, cooking, trying to cut up vegetables, cooking, and just like, but trying to like be focused on them so they don't feel I'm cooking. And it struck me the other day. I was cooking and I had something else that was going to happen later on, a live or something. And then separately, our girls came in and both of them had had a really bad day. And I was actually hugging one of them, checking the time and cooking. And I thought, I was suddenly struck by, oh my God, this is so similar to when they were really little.
Yeah, and dads do this thing where they think that if they jig a baby for half an hour, they've done everything that's needed. We
jig him for years.
Well, you're jigging and you're doing something else. You're jigging and jogging.
Jigging and jogging.
Whereas we just jig.
Joni, let's see what Joni's got to say.
I still do as much for my son now as I did when he was a toddler, but it's a choice on my part and not a demand from him.
Oh,
I love nurturing
you know
him.
what? I'm the same. It's like on Mother's Day, one of our girls had a hangover, right? And she was like falling around, having scraps of this, scraps of that. And I said, would you like a fry-up? And she was like, yeah. Anyway, so, I did the whole, Mark was great, ran out, got a shit sausages. She didn't want any healthy sausages.
It's hard to find shit
so
sausages.
he went out in the car, got the sausages. I was like, what sort of potatoes would you like? Would you like chips? Would you like this? Would you like that? Did this whole big breakfast. And then somebody said, oh my God, it's Mother's Day, because I didn't have any. I didn't want it. And I went, yeah, but you don't understand. I love it. It's not like, oh, it's Mother's Day and I'm cooking. I love doing it. And I think it's a really good way of putting it. It's no longer a demand.
We did all the washing up. Oh no, this here's going.
No, you didn't.
We actually
Not on Mother's Day.
Oh
I did it yesterday morning.
Oh my Christ!
Mark,
do not
last
rewrite
night
the truth.
Last night
No.
you did the washing up because I put a very clear
No.
boundary that I'm not doing dinner anymore unless everyone clears up.
We went out for food.
And that was lovely.
Hang on.
But I cleared up. Cleared up.
No.
Mark,
No,
yesterday
no.
morning,
All
this kitchen was a shitter.
This isn't interesting for them guys. This isn't interesting. So this would be like Christine Lampard and Frank having a row about who did the socks, wouldn't it?
No, not really.
No,
We haven't got the
that
glamour.
would be quite interesting. Actually.
Helen Mayhew, what's that? Oh my God, I remember breastfeeding while sitting at the dinner, while stirring the dinner. Yeah, under your shit. Look, with that, absolutely hanging off, trying to get dressed. What about going to the loo with them hanging on? Yeah.
Yeah,
they mess you up.
They do mess you up. But this was actually based on a story, or came out of a story by Lily Allen, who was talking about how she was talking. It's a sort of about her friendship with. Do you remember Makita Oliver?
Yeah, but I mean, more. This was tagged off the back of her saying that it ended her pop career. That it really.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of, you have a kid and you can't have. It's the idea that you can't have everything. You can't achieve everything that you thought you could achieve with a kid attached to your shoulder.
Well, I think you can if you really, really want it. Maybe she really enjoyed, because I remember her saying, I'm going to go to the country and I really want to be a mum. And I remember her saying that because I read her book, because she came on Loose Women. And she wanted to do that because she really felt she hadn't got that with her mum. And do you remember years ago when I got asked to do...
Laura Lou says you can if you're Beyonce.
Yeah. Do you remember years ago when I'd done an episode of Benidorm and then they offered me to go back for the whole series? And I said no, because I didn't want to leave the kids and stuff. So Maddie had obviously overheard this at some point. It was about a year later and she was like, we were walking along and she said, Mum, why didn't you do that job, that telly job? And I went, well, because of you girls, because I was totally happy with the decision. It was like, I can't go. And I suddenly realised by the way that she asked me that she'd been carrying some sort of guilt about it.
Oh.
So I immediately fixed it and said, oh no, but that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I had the choice, but I didn't want to miss out on you. But if I had really wanted to do that job, I would have worked it out. You could have come with me, but I didn't really want to do it as much as I wanted to do this. And there would have been a way, but
the other thing about kids, I mean, we've all had those moments in our careers and in our lives where you sort of think, okay, well, if I'd have gone for that, then I would be compromising this.
Yeah.
I mean, it less often presents itself, you could argue to me, but I think it does. I mean, I remember when I was offered my job in Washington, the reason I didn't was because I only had one child, two children at the time. I only had Izzy, and that I was seeing, and they were like, well, we'll fly her out and all this kind of stuff. But you do, I think but you don't want your children to own that problem or choice. It's not their fault. It's not, I think, but some parents really want to lay the responsibility at their kids' feet.
I gave up everything for you.
You don't know what I've sacrificed for you.
I think that's a terrible thing to say to your kids.
Do you know what I mean? I think that is awful.
Because when they go, well, I wasn't asked to be born, it is right.
Well, actually, I think that's a really
didn't
fair
ask.
They didn't ask.
We asked. We said we want a child.
And let's not go there, because I've got very, very contentious opinions on why we have kids. I think it's actually when you start to unpack it in older life, I think what is it about? What is it actually about? It's not only about sweet, gloopy, lovely things. Okay, well, that's so what are we talking about next? We're talking about, so did we do the stalking of the princess? We did, didn't we?
No, we just introduced it.
Oh, okay.
But so basically, this, as Mark introduced, so this was on LBC with Sheila Fogarty was saying, have we crossed over? And
what do you think, guys? Do you think we have?
The thing is, we do this to women so much more than we do to men. And is that because we have always been more boundaryless when it comes to investigating every last thing about a woman? It's like we were talking about this the other day on Loose Women. It's like, why do we always, it's International Women's Day and here we go again. Why are women, why do you think women should be supporting women? All this sort of, I hate all this bollocks. I think human beings support human beings. I think there are good and bad men and women. There are good and bad relationships between women, between men, blah, blah, blah. But everything has to be investigated with, it's never enough just to be told something. We've thought this whole thing about this photo has been so overblown and so ridiculous. I said yesterday, I think what this was she's had major surgery, probably, though none of us know, something like a hysterectomy or something like that. We have no idea, but for the amount of time that she's off, it was something quite serious. And obviously people have been, conspiracy theorising like nutters.
But just to give you some context on that, Elle says all the conspiracy theories on Twitter have been started by the Sussex Squad on Twitter, who hate William and Kate. There have been accusations of domestic violence, murder, and all sorts. It's
really
trolling.
All of it is just horrendous, whatever it is. Just more respect for human beings. And the thing is, it's like Meghan was talking the other day about how she felt so picked on when she was pregnant. And we had the lovely Emily Atack on Loose Women last week. Love that girl. And, the amount of thoroughly horrible things that have been said to her. She was at an event, and she's pregnant and she's loving being pregnant and she's got all the symptoms and it's tough and all of that. And she was looking just $1 million in this gorgeous long white gown and she was holding a bump. And she got the most hateful comments from men, and from men and women. Are you just trying to show off? You're trying to rub it in the noses of people that can't have babies. And it just awful. And I think there is this tearing down. So it's almost like gleeful now. Kate has admitted to fiddling with the photo. I genuinely believe she doesn't want to do a photo now. I'm having 6 weeks off. I've had a big operation. And I think actually what would have been the best thing for the royal family to do is go, just
sling your hook. Sling your hook.
She's having some blip. She's had 3 kids. She's got that horrible thing where you're sick all the time.
But the story, I really felt for her because yesterday then the story came out that she apologised for interfering.
Yes.
We've got the future Queen of England apologising for her photo editing skills. I thought this was one of the most curious moments in royal history. It's like
But it is a kind of stalking. It's kind of pushing somebody and pushing somebody.
Harassing.
It's harassment. It is harassment. And whether you like Meghan or not, and whether you like Kate or not, or whether you like this person, or whether you like that, what you have to say to yourself, if that was a loved one of mine, how would I feel about this person being picked on and picked on and picked on? It's not fair. I think
the whole thing with the royal
when
family.
You think about what happened to Diana.
Well, no, I know exactly.
William's
but for some
mother.
reason, there's this idea that there's a right to be able to say it, just because you can say it. And of course, that's one of the downsides of social media is there's so many areas here included where you can say this stuff, you can talk about stuff, you can express your opinions, regardless, freely, and that gives people who can't talk to anyone else more often than not, a troll sat somewhere with no one else to talk to, but if they can jump online and say something and get a response, suddenly they're heard. Suddenly there's some kind of
aside of those like extreme people like haters and trolls. When it first came out that Kate was going in for this operation, when I think about it, me and all my friends were like, oh God, what do you think it is? And it is human nature to ask. It is. And to wonder. But I wonder why it is human nature. Why do we have this need to know? Is it somehow to make us feel better? Like, is it just I don't know. It's a weird one. I think often when very famous people talk about things that they've had, the King with his prostate cancer. I remember when
it wasn't prostate cancer though.
Oh, what was it again?
No, he had an enlarged prostate and they've discovered
then he had
another
cancer. And we don't know what it is. That's right. Kylie Minogue, when she talked about a breast cancer, people that are going through that do often get a lot of salve from hearing of some. I don't know why. Again, why? Because everybody's illness is individual to them. So I understand the curiosity, but I think there needs to be some sort of edit of oneself and go, yeah, it's curiosity, but now I'm being a nosy little fucker.
Well, I also think but I do think the royal family at this point needs to do something quite drastic and dramatic. And what they need to do is lock this down. They need to say, that's it. We're not doing anymore. We're not giving any more updates. We've said it as it is and literally observe that rather than, because I even felt that the suggestion yesterday was first photograph of her in a car. I even still felt they were trying to put something out there to suggest that she hasn't somehow been inveigled off and taken to some kind of tower somewhere where she's been sort of held prisoner. Yeah. I mean, of course that hasn't happened. The poor woman is going through whatever she's going through. I mean, there is. I
also think the media purposely put out that kill the photo was so dramatic.
The kill. Elle says, I think people forget that Kate has experienced press intrusion for years, phone hacking, topless photos leaked. God, yes, of course. Paps following her. People forget because she doesn't complain publicly.
And everything that Diana went through, and I just think, and I think taking it beyond the royal family, I think that we are questioned too much as women. We have to explain every bloody thing. But anyway, let's get on to dating.
Yes, dating. Oh, yes, dating. So this is the jobification of dating, and
it's not a real word.
Well, I quite like it though. I mean, is it one of those sort of bastardized phrases that's great?
As I was saying on Instagram, it's now Grazia approved.
Oh, Grazification.
We can say jobification.
I'm gratified. Just quickly, a number of people are asking about the Diane Abbott story. It's absolutely hideous. Hideous, what he said.
I can't believe it.
I can't actually, but the Conservatives are still going to take his donor money.
But it doesn't matter how racist. I mean, look at the way that they couldn't say that, what's his name, that Lee Anderson, that what he'd said was Islamophobic. Not one of them. I heard so many Tory people on the radio that were asked directly. Nick Ferrari had to cut somebody off because he just wouldn't answer the question.
Nick Ferrari was wearing green glasses that day, which is quite something.
They are, really showing themselves up. Really.
And just in case
I feel so sorry for Diana.
Yeah, so do I.
My God, she's had some kicks, hasn't she?
But also, just to say, in case you think things can't get any worse, Boris Johnson's going to be making a bounce back at the new election. He's going to be campaigning for the
just
Tories.
As we said, he always would. It'll all be forgotten because everybody can't stand Rishi now. So Boris will be held up by as if he's the charge of the Light Brigade.
Before you know it, we're going to have Donald Trump and Boris Johnson.
Oh my God, help us.
All that kind of bollocks. Anyway, yeah, so the datification, no, what's it called? The gratification.
Jobification
of dating. So this is the idea that rather than just going onto an app and dating lots of people, there are new sort of protocols, aren't there? There are new protocols potentially for finding the right partner or going on a date. And this is the idea that actually you treat your quest for love more like job hunting. Including things like Date Me documents, which is a sort of almost a CV, a curriculum vitae of your qualities, of who you are, of your background, of your interests.
So what would be
sorts of things.
Give us a few of you. What would be your qualities? And then we can put some of the messages up. What would be some of your qualities that would go on your CV? Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're a couple already, but just for a bit of fun. What would you put on your CV?
The danger, just before we get onto that, but the danger with any CV is, as we know, most CVs are lies, and so they're littered with exaggeration.
But
what?
Take this into account.
All right.
Because we were saying over on Instagram, and I think it's a good idea. Let's do away with the whole artifice of the first date. Right. Let's call it what it is.
Dawny Harvey says must have a pulse.
It's an interview. It's an audition.
Yes.
Now, these days with auditions, if you're going for a part, thank God it wasn't like that when I was an actress, but you do your self-tape.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got like a minute or two where you've got to talk into the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Then you may or may not get an audition, a face-to-face audition, and then you do away with all the bollocks of going for a drink and everything. Then you have the audition, and then you either get a recall or not. So anything you put on that CV, you are going to be asked about it in detail. We will follow up referees.
Well, references would be quite a good thing. I mean, I think references from former partners, former girlfriends, perhaps former in-laws, things like that. But this is.
I don't think that would go down very well with my.
What would you mean?
I don't know if I'd get a good review.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So what would you put on your CV? So what would you look for in a CV from someone, from a potential partner? Would you be looking for emotional attributes?
I'd be looking for. Oh, sorry, your speech.
Oh, bless
sorry.
you.
I would be okay. What would I want to see on a CV? I would want to see. I wouldn't want to, because the good thing about a CV is you're not asking for something, which I think is on the dating apps. I want this, I want that. So it would be like really having to state who you are. So I would be wanting to look for things like kindness, things like energy. Like you wouldn't want some. I mean, some of my friends, when they've shown me some of the photographs, even of on dating, and these blokes haven't even bothered to sit up before they've taken their photo.
If I was to characterise the most common image I've seen of men on dating apps, they're sat back.
They're always lying down.
What's that about?
So Lee says, first audition with one of your friends, final audition with the parents.
I like
Love
quite
it.
like that. Quite
Love
like
it.
That. I quite like that.
So on my CV, I would put full power woman. I know what I like and what I don't like, but I'm open to anything new, barring sex. And that I'm kind-hearted and full of energy. Life is just beginning.
Okay.
And I wouldn't hide my age. I wouldn't hide how many relationships I've had. Would we want to know how many relationships we've had on our CV? Would we put that down?
Zoe says she'd put my CV would be full-time idiot, red wine enthusiast, happy to cook.
Right. Okay. So what would I read? Put that back up,
Yeah.
babe. What I would read in there: full-time idiot.
Mm.
You see, with
You're
my
inviting bastards.
wisdom, I would, if that was my daughter, I'd go, don't put that, because what you're saying is you've immediately
Dissed yourself.
You're self-deprecating, but you're giving a window. You're putting in your hand and going, just say whatever you want about me.
Mm.
So
maybe you should put on there
can I just get a bit back up?
Self-defecating.
Self-defecating, you could.
But Zoe's up.
Yeah, it's a red wine enthusiast. So if I was reading this, Zoe, and you were a bloke, sorry, Don, just leave
and
it
happy
up
to
there.
cook. Yeah, that's all right. I can
So
remember it.
just because I want to
Sorry,
go
I
through
just
each
want to
bit.
make sure that. Sorry.
So full-time idiot, I would go, vulnerable, very vulnerable. If you were a bloke, right? Red wine enthusiast, I would go, that's hidden alcohol problems. Happy to cook. Me, I would go.
She's not saying this about you, Zoe.
No, I'm not saying this about you, Zoe. But I'm saying how we read things. It's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and also
red wine enthusiast would say to me that alcohol is a very big part of their life.
You see, Zoe, what I would say as a catch-all for all of that is you have a gallows sense of humour. So I would put that. I would immediately be drawn. If someone said gallows sense of humour, that would be so important to me.
Dark sense of
humour and ability to laugh at themselves. Laughing at yourself is one of the biggest qualities or attributes that one could look for. And I think it's rare in men. Men get very actually, as what I'm saying, it's rare in men. It's rare in a lot of people. But the ability to laugh at yourself, take the piss out of yourself, not take yourself too seriously, but not be an absolute moron, which I think I sometimes trip into being a little bit too much. Did you mean self-deprecating? Yeah, I was joking, Sean Goods. Because if I put self-defecating on my CV, it would be wrong. Very, very wrong. But one of the other things about this is apparently this story or this piece in Grazia, it looks like there is if it's a dating app or not, they actually have something called the Date Me doc, which are stored in a Date Me directory, a database for anyone looking for a relationship, which has been founded by 29-year-old Steve Krause in 2022. And he makes a really interesting point that if you're willing to go to the effort of creating one of these documents, that says so much more about you already. It's a little bit like, if you're willing to go to the effort of writing a love letter or a note or something like that, it would suggest that you're not just interested in the quick sort of grazing of fast food dating type approach to things. But the other thing that they have, which I think is really interesting, going back to your analogy of the audition, is exit interviews. So if it doesn't go right and you don't go to a next date, the suggestion being you should phone them and do an exit survey.
This is something on TikTok where this girl. Oh, sorry, Don.
I don't know if I can find the exit.
Don't worry,
part in
I
the
think I've got it
document.
here. I think I screenshot it where she actually
Ariana Shireen, I think, is it?
Yeah, she actually
But these exit
surveys where she films and uploads and onto her TikTok page. The idea came to her in November when she visited a friend who'd been ghosted and wanted to know why. I said, why don't you just call him and see what he says, right? And that's how it all started. Now, I do think there's something in this, but I also think that there isn't. Like recently, the last Celebrity Love Island, I can't remember her name now. One of her exes came in and she asked him, so why did you ghost me? Why did you finish? And I was like under the table, I was like, oh my God, don't ask him, because are you going to get the truth? And oh my God, it could be totally devastating.
Yeah.
But if you've had a fairly mature relationship, and he's not just a dirty dog that's going to ghost everybody, because the thing is, he's not going to give you something that you can learn from. But if it was quite a decent relationship, I think there is really something in just saying, where did we go wrong, or could we swap where it went wrong for each of us? Even if you're the broken-hearted one, there will be things that you didn't like about the relationship, and I think, why not have a bit of an exit
strategy even. But does this woman do this without their permission? That's quite presumably.
No, I don't think so. It doesn't say that anywhere.
But I think the thing about having an exit survey of some form, it gives and delivers you in the dating scenario. Let's go with the audition analogy. One of the absolutely brutal details or facts of life for actors is you'll audition, and you get no feedback. You'll just be told, in fact, you won't even be told you won't be called back. You just don't hear anything. And so you get zero angle on what it is, which would be the most useful thing in anything in life, isn't it? Bit of feedback, maybe try this, do this, and then you can think, all right, next time I'll try this. I think this is really quite potentially good, because I think now one of the examples in the article was she rang up someone or spoke to someone and said, why didn't we meet again? And he actually was honest and said, well, actually, I realized I hadn't got over someone and I went back to them. It will give you closure and not allow you to kind of really indulge those sort of doubts about yourself. You might be thinking, is it because of how I looked or how
I just think you just got to be really careful how you do it, because if you're quite an insecure person and your self-esteem is feeling very low, and not everybody has the gift of communication and knows how to wrap something up or to deliver something. And also, when you're hurt, you can hear things in such a different way. So I'm kind of for it and I'm not for it, because I think it could be brilliant or fucking terrible. It could send you into a deeper dive.
But would you, for example, we're watching Married at First Sight Australia, and we're both getting really frustrated with one particular couple in it, where the woman is a total mindful, tantric, ooh-yah sort of woman. She's lovely. She's quite, she's quite full-on yogi. And he is a lovely guy. He's a very ordinary chap, but it's all too much for him, and he can't quite get there, and all this kind of stuff. So for him on a CV, it would be important for him to read. If you said, I'm into yogi, tantric, all this kind of meditative and all that, what's have you. I mean, presumably now you would see that as a huge attribute. Is one always necessarily looking for what one wants? And my worry with the CV as an idea is, that age-old phrase, opposites attract. Does it sort of program out the possibility of opposites attracting? Because you're so targeting what you think you'd like.
No more so than dating apps, which are very base, aren't they? It seems.
I think we all just need to go back to clubs, get fucking rat-assed and just pull. Don't you?
That's the old days, man.
I mean, let's get back to dancing around our handbags.
Anyone else? What else? Serious question. Would you have a section on a CV for health? Because I worry about telling a potential date about my heart condition.
Oh, interesting. Mental health as well.
I think that's something that you could put in or not, because I suppose something like that, Lee, I think it's better to know someone a bit first, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't want to overwhelm them.
Because somebody might just think, oh God, this person hasn't got a heart condition, so I'll go for them, and they might miss out on you. So I would say probably not. I don't think there should be a health bit. But if somebody wants to share it, they can. Because again, Mark's saying, you just narrow and narrow and narrow your... If we're looking for the perfect person that fits perfectly with us and does like yoga and does like this in the same way. What I really hate is when I hear people go, oh, I love this person. They're just like me.
I never understand.
It's such a weird thing to say. Now, you could say we connect on loads of things, but why would you want someone that's just like you?
I'd hate someone just like me. It's fucking horrendous being me. Why would you want someone else like me?
You want to bring in new things, I think. I think part of what's nice about a relationship is bringing new things into it.
I'd go so far as to say I think there's room in the market. What do our singletons here feel? I think there's room in the market. Look, Welcome to the Man family says, I love that lady on Married at First Sight, but he's not on her level intimately, and that's unfair on both of them. Totally agree.
Exactly, good point. Because last night I found myself saying, I said it out loud, and wonderful 20-year-old daughter. I said, she just needs to pull back a bit. He's overwhelmed. And she said, my daughter said, no, Mum. She doesn't need to change. No. We keep saying how lovely she is. He's just not right for her.
Just not right for
and
each
to
other.
Be fair, he did say right at the beginning, I'm not good enough for her.
Yeah.
But what are we all hoping for? What we're hoping for in this series and their relationship is, because what he actually asked for was her. He doesn't have intimate relationship. It's all very surface. He doesn't have anyone that really cares about him.
Jackie Villeneuve
And
is
to
grieving,
somebody,
yeah.
and for somebody to crack through that exterior, that what's it called when you put on a armor to get to him, you're going to have to be somebody that says, I'm here and I'm waiting for you. I believe in us. I believe there is hope. He's so beautiful. He's such a spunk. I can't help it.
I can't come out that phrase. It makes me jump out of my skin.
No matter what he does to her, she just goes, I believe in us. I do. But he pulls away.
I think she is, her soul is lovely, but her voice would drive me to distraction.
I'd be her friend.
Yeah, no, I think she's lovely. But
she does have a challenging voice.
No, it's only because it's so sincere. I struggle with
it's because it's very nasal.
No, I struggle with over sincerity that barely lifts its head for kind of air.
But over sincerity, it suggests that she doesn't mean. I actually think she does mean sincere.
I agree.
So for most of us, it's like, oh God, how can you be that? You're being over sincere. Maybe she's just being sincere.
Well, here's the other thing. I think we could have I think there's a gap in the market for a new app, and I think the app should be people should date people who seem utterly unsuitable to them. I think it should be about finding not the perfect partner, but actually targeting the worst possible set of attributes that you would never in a normal month of Sundays think, that's right for me. Because I do think there needs to be an app called Opposites Attract. It should be called OA.
Yeah, that's another idea. Opposites attract. If you kept on looking for somebody that's like you, maybe just. But I do think that's the thing about dating. You just have to throw it. Sometimes you have to throw all the rules up into the air, don't you?
Charmaine, do you watch Love Is Blind? I mean, Love Is Blind. It does speak to. It's amazing, isn't it? How quickly they can be in love with it. There's the purity of the idea, and then there's the absolute sort of cynicism of seeing someone and they're not fancying them. It's awful, isn't it?
It doesn't happen that much, though. Actually, on Love Is Blind.
What's that? People don't.
That people don't. And in fact, in this last series, everybody's really liked everybody. And now we've pulled out because they're all getting married. And we all know they're all going to turn up.
Yeah.
We've all lost interest.
And pulling out is a great segue into our final story, which is the most dangerous sex positions.
What do you think is the most dangerous sex position?
I have 5.
No, that is just backed by science. What is the most dangerous
backed by A&E
sex position? This was an article written by a doctor.
Yeah, so it's not backed by science.
They do advise science in that doctors have researched it.
Backed by A&E.
Yeah.
Vicky Edwards.
Dandelion Spirit, enjoying the show, guys. Thank you. And please do hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. You need the notification bell because then if we are going live at an odd time, it will notify you. And every morning we do Coffee Moaning. It's uploaded, so you can watch it when you get home. Also, we've got our family reality show here.
Movie which one reviews. Is landing later today?
Yeah, it's a good one. Movie reviews, TV reviews. We have a live cookery show every Saturday morning. Me and my sister and Mark. He's very annoying on the cookery show, but you all love him for it. Those marshmallow popcorn she made last Saturday.
Very nice. Very nice.
So there's loads going on the channel. So and it costs you nothing, and there's loads here to watch.
Oh, and the first Green Fingernails coming too, with Nanny Di wandering around the garden lots. So the most dangerous sex positions. Yes, lots of you have said reverse cowgirl. Now Nadia's going to demonstrate on the floor. Yeah. Do you want to?
Can we be seen? What is? Well, I'm going to say what I think it is, and you'll have to tell me.
Okay, let's see if we get this right. So, oh, Nads, what's happened there?
Oh God, that's got everywhere. Oh my God, it's from my eyeliner. Is it all over my jeans?
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yes,
You're just saying that because you're looking at my.
I'm not. Turn around.
Is there stuff?
No, turn around and bend over.
No,
just
no.
Honestly, it will help.
I don't need to.
I can see something.
No, leave it. It's fine where it is. Right. What is a backwards cowgirl?
Reverse, baby. Oh, reverse. Okay. Do you want an image?
No. They've got to tell me. Then we've got.
YouTube says bum.
So what do we do for a reverse cowgirl?
You have to go yeehaw.
No idea, says somebody.
I do. I know.
It's a lot of people's favourite position, says Zoe.
Is it?
She's heard.
This is the one that can actually fracture the penis.
Well, we weren't going to say that. You always go to the punchline.
It's not a punchline. It's not a punchline. put it into reverse. I wouldn't know what the position is because I'm never in a
Well,
position.
I'm assuming. Lie down. I'm going to say what I think.
Bloody hell, talk about
If you're riding the cow this way, though I've never ridden a cow, lie on the floor. No, lie on the floor. No, lie on the floor. Right, so this would be, if I'm riding a cow or a horse, I'm going to go this way.
This is very Cheltenham, isn't it? Very Cheltenham.
Yeah,
that's. Oh my
Is
God!
Yeah!
Yes, and you've definitely got.
Is that right, Zoe? So you've heard. Right, so as Mark said, the reason why this is so dangerous is it's the way that you're most likely to fracture your penis.
Do you know why? Because the penis is doing that.
And it bends backwards. And the thing is, when you fracture it, do you need a cast on it? We forgot to look that up.
No, but do you know why it's become the most dangerous? Because apparently if the woman is having a great time there, she loses all sense of decorum and kind of... Well, no, honestly. And the pelvic...
Gone into a fancy world
No. And the pelvic bone is pushed so hard.
Right, don't say pelvic bone.
Pelvic bone is pushed so hard that
Mark, stop. It's too much.
It crushes it.
Right. Although rare, an fracture can occur when there is trauma. Has to be.
Of course it does, you donut.
So a fracture differs from other fractures in the body because the penis has no bones. Isn't that funny? Because we call it a boner.
It's weird, isn't it? That it can fracture without bone.
During
what?
The erection.
Erection.
The penis is engorged
Yeah,
with blood that fills 2 cylinders. Do you know what your 2 cylinders are called?
How many? What depends on the size of the cylinder.
What do you know what your cylinders are called?
Do I know where my cylinders are?
Do you know what it is?
Where are my cylinders?
Well, exactly. You
I
didn't
didn't
even
know I
where
had
your cylinders were.
cylinders.
They are called the corpora cavernosa.
Sounds like pasta.
That's your cylinders, boys.
Oh, I want some pasta now. I'm hungry.
If it is engorged and bent suddenly or forcefully,
okay,
the trauma can rupture, I'm going to finish, the outer lining of the 2 cylinders right now. Do you want to know, boys, what your outer cylinder is called? It's called a funica albuginea.
These are Italian dishes. Funica boccolini.
This will result in a fractured penis.
Now, I'm going to say something that's quite intimate and quite revealing.
Yes!
Bless you. Oh,
Sorry.
lads. Now, if you do that whilst doing the reverse cowgirl...
Oh, my God.
It's
it
a
would
game
never
over.
recover.
It's game. Cylinders are out the window. You've punctured your cylinders and everything's over. But here's the thing. It's something that me and my friends did when we were younger. We used to slam our penises in the door of a fridge.
Now, this is enough.
No.
The fridge?
Yeah, no, in the...
Mark,
in the
fridge?
Yeah, on the
fridge?
In the 70s and 80s.
What is wrong with men? What, with there's cupboards, there's doorways,
But fridges
and
back
you
then
do
were
it
very
on
low.
the fridge.
Yeah, but you would slam it really hard.
But
And
why were there food?
The reason we did it was we couldn't believe we couldn't feel anything.
Why you should have done it in the dryer? Because at least it's rubber rings.
Yeah, we didn't do it in here. I'm talking about in the 70s in a basement flat with a bunch of all of us just going around, running around, throwing darts at each other. We were smashing stuff up, and so we would slam them in things. And to see, we'd be like, why don't we feel
Slam
it?
them in things?
Because you'd be like, why is this?
Oh my God, when they say that men's brains are in their pants, they really are. So do you want to know the symptoms of it?
Yes.
Right. Immediate penile pain.
Oh, it's nothing like it.
Right?
Nothing like
A
it.
popping or cracking sound.
I've never had. Oh, God. Oh.
Rapid loss of erection.
But that's the problem. The quick diminution of the erection suddenly means that it seizes.
Shh, not so loud, you're really shouting.
I'm just
and the girls
trauma,
will hear
just
you.
The thought of it.
Swelling in the shaft. Discoloration.
Of the penile shaft.
Bleeding under the skin. Right, I think we've put everyone off the reverse cowgirl.
Reverse cowgirl isn't worth it. Isn't worth it. But look, listen.
Ooh.
What?
Ooh, it can get even worse.
How much worse than that can it get?
Left on. Well, I'm not even going to read that bit out because it's too horrible. And somebody might be soup. Left untreated, a penis fracture might result in a curved or a permanent permanent inability to get or keep an erection firm enough for sex. So you don't fracture it.
I had a friend who had one that was on a constant curve. It would forever be coming out of his pocket.
I once had a person in my life that had one that went around the left.
Did it? What, literally sort of like horizontally? Like looking around a corner?
It was like that.
Well, look, here we go. I'm a sexpert, says this article, and these are some of the other really dangerous positions that you get. The standing split. Do you
Oh,
want to?
that looks horrible.
Let me show you how you do that. So, come here.
Which one is the woman and
The
which
standing
one?
split. The one in blue. The blue is the man. So come here.
No.
You need to put your
I
leg
don't want to
here.
do it. It doesn't look nice.
Okay, it's a standing split. You have to just put a leg up there and you stand.
I'm not doing that.
Essentially
I'm
doing
going to
the
end up
splits
with a
against the
broken
wall.
back.
The
For
the
God's
handstand position.
sake. Right, let's put the thing on so we can see.
This
Right, if you drop me, you will pay a terrible price.
is the handstand position.
Right, I think you might need to have a chair to support you in case
know.
there's any good.
Look, I'm quite ambitious, but even I
Right,
think
so
I can't
imagine
do this
he's
one. Hang on.
standing.
I've just got to look at. See. Okay.
Oh, can you believe anyone does that?
So you've got to get your.
If anyone does this, you're going to get
Okay,
a Mars
stand on
bar in
there.
the post. No, I'm not standing. You're standing.
No, you're the one going. It's your crutch in my face.
I know, but I want a chair behind you in case you collapse.
But you need to go up, and I have to carry you upside
But
down.
why am I getting a chair?
Because you're going to stand up. No, darling. You've got the wrong end of the stick, literally. What? Oh my God! This is reminding me. When you sneeze when you're having sex. Shh. No, this is rude. I remember a condom flying across the room.
I mean it. Don't.
Babe, you haven't read the image properly.
I-
Look.
Yeah, you've got to be standing up, and I'm supposed to be upside down
So why am I getting on the chair?
because I don't trust you'll be able to stay standing. So I want
I
an
can
area
stand
of
as
safety.
good as the next
Right,
man.
this is what you need. We need this in case you fall. Okay, so that you'll fall and I'm not.
But then I'll fall like that.
Yeah, but you're
Okay,
not
so,
on.
so where?
How the hell are we going to do this?
Okay, so you stand on your hands.
Mark, but don't go fast because if I break my nose. No, my back! No, Mark, put me down.
Yeah.
Mark,
My knees.
No,
My knees gonna
Mark,
go.
I will crumble.
My knees gonna
I
go.
will crumble. Don't just drop
I'm not
me.
dropping. Can't do that.
Oh God, nobody does that. Not unless you're a gymnast. Oh, I feel sick now. Why would you want to be upside down? I think what it is I think these people just don't fancy the people that they're with, so they have to try and do ludicrous things.
So the other one is the mermaid. Okay.
Don't really understand that. The
So where you're
butter
being
churner.
penetrated is on
No,
top.
we don't need to say
The
penetrated.
butter churner. This was immortalised in 2021 series of Love Island. Butter churner belongs in no one's sexual repertoire. It requires the receiver to lie on their back, lift their legs up behind their head while they give us squats.
I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do this for
the
Instagram.
wheelbarrow,
So we've got some crash
the
mats.
helicopter,
We're going to get some crash mats.
the
Have we still-
waterfall.
Have we still got those crash mats in the roof? Mark,
Yes, we have a crash mat.
you didn't throw it out. Because
No,
I said to
I-
you one day we're going to need that crash mat. Did you throw it out?
No.
Right. Okay. So we're going to do a reel and so we can do this in a safe situation.
Yeah.
Watch out. I'm on at Nadia Sawalha and Mark is at Mark_Adderley.
So there we go.
Thank you for spending lunchtime with us. I'm bloody starving, to be quite honest.
Yes, I'm starving. So
I'm
we'll see
starving.
you on
I
the
want
morrow.
cheese on toast and homemade vegetable soup.
We did the wheelbarrow. That's what we achieved. Matt Roth says it'll be on the front page of the Daily Mail tomorrow. Oh, God. Us trying